Hello, this is Guy Clapperton. I'd like to tell you a little bit about using me as a virtual media trainer, which is of course exactly the same as using me as an ordinary media trainer, except I'm not there. Brilliant. The service is very, very much the same. I'd like to show you just a couple of little things. For example, those of you who've used me as a media trainer before will know I'm quite fond of doing the odd sketch here and there. Here I can do that on my whiteboard in real time, just as if I were in the room. S-K-E-T-C-H, sketch. There we are. Sometimes they get even more exciting than that, believe it or not. The other thing I do very often is use similar sets of slides to the ones that I do when I'm in person. Here's a few now. If I just hit share, and you can see that. There's the one about business rules applying, whereas there's no such thing as off the record. Here's the one on new structures. Occasionally they don't move when you hit click quite quickly enough. And here's an introduction to a story. I very often tell stories about things that have gone wrong in the press because they're helpful to people. On this occasion, I was at the launch of a major new mobile phone. It felt like it at the time. It was one of the first ones that ever linked between Microsoft Outlook and the phone itself. So you could have your diary, you could have your contacts, you could have all sorts of things on your phone. It's commonplace now. It wasn't commonplace at the time. I was using an Apple Macintosh machine at the time, as were many other people in the media. So I said to the chief executive of this company, tell me, when will this actually synchronize with the Macintosh? Because the Mac didn't have Outlook at the time. It had a thing called Microsoft Entourage. The chief executive thought for a while and he said, I believe that will be February. Yes, February. And it'll be a firmware update, so you don't have to change anything technical. I went away, started writing the story, and I had a very embarrassed call from the PR people. Apparently, there was no plan whatsoever to make it link with the Macintosh. There was no need. That had 5% of the market. Outlook had 95% of the market. There was no commercial imperative to make it work with that at all. So he'd fallen into the trap of thinking he had to say something rather than admit that he'd said something, that he didn't know something. But that could have been terribly damaging if it had got into print or onto the web or wherever else it might get to these days. So never ever feel that you have to say something. It's not a test. If you don't know something, if you have to get back to us, we might find it frustrating as journalists, but you don't work for journalists. You work for your company. So that's the sort of insight I share with you. As you'll see, I've branded this particular background with my own company name. I can, of course, substitute that for yours if you wish to have your own branded media training. So do have a think about it. You've probably got lots of time, and catching up with skill acquisition is a very good thing to be doing at the moment. Do drop my assistant, Nikki, at clapperton.co.uk. That's Nikki at clapperton.co.uk. A note if you'd like to know more. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks very much. Bye.